The Philippines faces a serious battle against plastic pollution, but some groups are helping the country win by recovering plastic waste. To tell us more about it is the Managing Director of L'Oreal Philippines, Yannick, Raynaud, and the founder of Plastic Credit Exchange, Nanette, Medved-Po. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word.
Thank you for having us.
Let's fight this battle against plastic pollution. Are we winning it, Nanette?
We plan to win it. I think with a very robust program from the government, lots of support from the private sector, I think there's really hope for the Philippines. We're so proud telling this story around the world.
But how do we compare against our ASEAN neighbors in fighting plastic pollution?
Well, I think EPR, the 2023 is the first year of compliance for EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility, and the Philippines has been bold in its legislation, and the DENR is very serious about implementing it. So, our other ASEAN neighbors, they do have some manner of EPR, Indonesia, Singapore's in early stages, Vietnam, but the Philippines, this is the first year of compliance, and it is true compliance. So I think we have a lot to be proud of.
And we are indeed catching up and trying to win that battle sooner rather than later. And Yannick, you're one of the stakeholders helping the country win this fight against plastic pollution. Why did the brand commit to 100% recovery, upcycling, and recycling of plastic waste by 2023?
Because it's the right thing to do, simply. I think that we were emboldened by the EPR bill, I have to say, because like you said, it's bold, it's aggressive, one of the most aggressive in the world. And then we decided to do what we could at best. So first, committing in 100% recovery. That was already the first endeavor that we took. The government is asking for 20% only on year one. We said, why not going and pushing it to 100%? But beyond that, what we really wanted to do was to tackle the second part, which is after the recovery, that could be the easy part. Actually the waste management is really the most complex part. And there, we also took some bets, and we went for, the difficult route, I would say, with the support of Nanette and PCX.
And Yannick, recovery of plastic waste is indeed a step in the right direction, but the root problem is really production. Yes. So what is L'Oreal doing to reduce, if not eradicate, the production of plastics?
Yes, you're right. The two situations have to be tackled hand in hand, right? So what we're doing in the Philippines is tackle, like the post-consumer, footprint of plastic. What the group L'Oreal has been committed for years actually to do is really to tackle, the production of the packaging. And for that, we have several initiatives under this front, which we call the 3R. Which is, the first one is about reducing, the plastic, meaning that means that reducing the packaging. And for that, we have, for example, product like this packaging, where instead of having to buy all the time the bottle, you can buy a pouch with less packaging. Or you have this kind of product where you can buy this beautiful bottle, but inside you have actually a refill.
Okay.
By doing that, you're saving 60% of packaging. So that's already, one
sustainability.
Thing, very, very sustainable. And also it's good for the planet, but it's also good for the pocket, correct?
Yes.
The second one, after reducing, which is very important, is about replacing. So why not making choice, about replacing plastic, for example, with cardboard, which is one of the initiatives of these tubes. This was a simple plastic packaging before, now it is actually cardboard. Or, reducing, for example, from virgin plastic to better plastic. And the last approach is, of course, recycling. And recycling, it's a commitment that we have, at the Total L'Oreal Group by 2025 to reduce, it to 100%, having, by the way, 100% of our products that are reusable, compostable, recyclable.
So, Nanette, tell us, what is this partnership now between L'Oreal and the Plastic Credit Exchange in terms of recovery and management of plastic waste?
Right. So when L'Oreal first came to us, not only did they surprise us by saying, we're not just going to do compliance, but we're going to voluntarily do an additional 80% to do 100% of our footprint. We were very pleasantly surprised to hear that. But then they said, we're only interested in recycling and upcycling. That was a huge challenge because in the Philippines, that is a tall order. We do not yet have the infrastructure in place to deliver at scale these kinds of solutions. So we had to help L'Oreal find project partners to not only, to her point, collect the waste post-consumer, but deliver it to recyclers and upcyclers who, in this case, their upcyclers are making furniture, which is then being given to the LGU, or different homeware appliances. And their recycling is going into packaging just like this, where you have recycled content. So there are a number of ways they are doing it with us. The thing is, this is just the beginning, and we were just talking about that earlier. This is starting the flywheel that will build capacity, that will bring infrastructure.
All right. L'Oreal is a role model, but are other multinational and local companies following the same model that L'Oreal has taken in the country?
I'm proud to say there are a few, both domestic companies and multinational companies who are being bold and aspiring for the 100% or even achieving the 100%. But each profile is different. L'Oreal is very, has made a very bold commitment because they are not doing what's easy. They're doing what's hard because they believe it's right. So the recycling and the upcycling makes them a little bit unique. I would say there's maybe one or two other companies who are aspiring for the same thing. But certainly, I think this is a unique story in that sense for L'Oreal.
And Yannick, why did you choose PCX?
It was the best fit. Seriously, the first thing that we were looking for, to achieve this ambitious goal that we had decided to make was one, to find, an expert partner who knew about, plastic waste management. We needed that. The second, we needed also a partner with proven track record, and not just because of the EPR bill, but had been doing that for a while. Circular economy, plastic waste management, etc. And the third one, and probably one quite important, it was we needed to find a partner that was equally committed, equally passionate like us, to push the boundaries, to take daring bets. And when we met, nothing was impossible in some ways. We put them in front, our ambition, and they said, okay, let's try.
But did L'Oreal consider doing it itself?
No. Not at this stage, because we looked at different possibilities, correct? But we didn't want to try to do that. We are not the experts. You need allies, correct? To do this kind of progress. And I think that, like you were saying, it's a journey. In this moment, you need to find, these partners and these allies, to do the best that you can, the right way.
And Nanette, the Philippines generates 2.7 million metric tons of plastic waste annually, according to the World Bank. What is the goal? What is the ambition?
Look, the Philippines, let me phrase that differently for your audience. The Philippines is infamously the third worst offender for ocean plastic pollution in the world. That's a terrible title for us to have. But I think if you were to ask, not only the authors of the law that is now in place, but even the current administration and the DENR secretary, I think their ambition is we should be nowhere on that list. It will be very difficult to do that precisely because there, unfortunately, in the Philippines and in many places in the world, but especially developing countries, there are no perfect solutions. There is no infrastructure in the Philippines currently that can handle this waste at scale, as you know, because of 9003, which is a great law, but waste management is fragmented to the LGUs, which makes this an extremely difficult problem to tackle. So I think with the EPR bill, this will start the flywheel that will begin the investment so that we can actually start to see some of the circular economy we all aspire for. I don't want to be bold and say we're going to get out of, the 2.7 million tons in 10 years. I don't know that that's going to happen, especially because even if we reduce our plastic usage by 40%, L'Oreal was talking about, even if we do that, we will globally add 9 billion tons to our consumption by 2050. This is a frightening number. And so in as much as I'd like to say we're going to make great strides in the next 10 years, it's going to be a challenge.
All right. All stakeholders and all our kababayans have to work together to fight and win this battle against plastic pollution. Nanette Medved-Po, Plastic Credit Exchange founder, and Yannick, Raynaud, L'Oreal Philippines Managing Director. Thank you, ladies, for joining us on The Final Word.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.